Yeah.
flagged and
Gratex video. Horrible audio as usual.
To his staff.
Okay, so he just said, Inmendham said another one of his videos flagged and he's reported it to his staff. I mean, reported, I just had to acknowledge I got a strike, I got to move again because you can't function with strikes on your account.
You know, it's a tragedy. I know I've had a couple of videos flagged off by, videos relating to Inmendham flagged off, so...
I'd like to see evidence of that, actually. What videos were those? Mirrors of Jones R videos? I'd like to see the videos. Do you have the videos? Yeah, I'd like to see what was in them, yeah. But regardless, the point is, I already addressed this point. Yeah, if an Inmendham video gets flagged, it's going to get flagged by people who are defending Inmendham, probably, right? I mean, if it's an attack video against Inmendham, just like all of us. And I was only pointing out in my video the irony of having a video flagged by edible napalm supporters, because they're only endorsing the very force that has forced him to have 20 fucking accounts. Duh.
I guess by Inmendham's logic of you know, his video about napalm's being flagged off, therefore it was napalm's followers, therefore it's kinda implied that it's napalm's fault.
Well, I don't know. I couldn't make it more clear. I said his suck offense. I said his, you know, the people who support him are actually supporting flagging. I even made a joke about, well, yeah, I'm going to support flagging because, yeah, it worked against my guy. You know, so I don't know, where's the implication that I said napalm did it? No, nowhere. I clearly was pointing right at his supporters, just saying, you don't see the irony in your behavior, fuckhead?
I guess that applies to Inmendham as well. If I've had videos about Inmendham flagged off, therefore it must have been Inmendham's followers, therefore it's kind of like Inmendham's fault. But
well, I guess it would be my fault if I didn't say repeatedly in videos that I don't think anybody should ever flag a video unless it deserves to be flagged. What can I say? And I'd like to see the videos that you did against me that were flagged, that were perfectly innocent videos. So let me see the video and I'll say whether it deserved to get flagged or not. I mean, there are videos that deserve to be flagged. Do you want to pretend there aren't? Well, I don't think there are not videos that are fucking goddamn obnoxious. If you're going to show an image of me with a fucking swastika on my fucking head, I think it should get fucking flagged, because I don't think it's your right to do that, you fuckhead. I've made that pretty fucking clear, you fucking retard.
Yes, no, maybe what happened in that scenario was people who hate Inmendham and who are against the truth flagged off my videos to make it look like.
Yeah, well, like you're some kind of truth teller, and you're not. You've been a slanderer plenty of times, so fuck you, this double standard. But again, I haven't endorsed it. I've publicly stated I don't endorse flagging videos just because it's an anti-video. It really has to go too far. But there is such a thing as too far, shithead.
Yeah, I think we could all work out how these things happen. I think we've all got enough experience of Inmendham to know how shit goes down.
Yeah, I don't know. Is this really, do we? Yeah, I lost 600 videos for a figure art drawing. Okay, I had videos flagged. The video I was responding to, again, go look at Edible Napalm's video and explain to me how my video was worse than his video. Explain it to me, and then you have an argument. But without that explanation, you have no fucking argument.
Flagging is, of course, cowardly as fuck. And it's the realm of the snotty little shitbag. That's the flagging realm. So, you know, we don't want to have discussions, you know, framed by them. But at the same time, we don't have discussions framed by people who use ridiculous appeals to emotions and 17-hour-long tirades, where you can't be bothered listening to the fucking arguments they make. So, you know.
Oh yeah, right. Well, you can put up with. We should let some droney, slow-witted, blah 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 guy frame the discussion. Is that it? So you can frame a discussion. These lazy brains like you should frame discussions. I mean, you know, fuck. You know, you sit there and pretend like you're on some sort of. You're like on the fucking king chair, speaking down to the fucking peons, like you're some sort of authority on doing it right. No, you're a disgusting example of doing it fucking wrong.
These are with the
Again, your audio isn't even fucking decent.
Stand up and tell everybody what's true, you know, and we all have to listen because he's old and shit. You know, it's just tell him to shut the fuck up, you know, just say, okay, you got 5 minutes to talk like everybody else, so you got 5 minutes, go and fucking do it, right?
I don't even know what that means. You're endorsing that there's no subject that needs a little more conversation than that? But whatever. Fuck you.
So here's how the adult discussion works. Okay, we can mostly agree that there are subjective values, okay? I think we all admit that. There are people and they have values.
Yeah, that's right. They have stomachs and they have penises. Alright, are you going to get to the part where they have a brain? So yeah, they have organs that create imperatives inside of them, desires and motivational emotions. Yeah, but they also have a cognitive capacity. Yeah, let's not pay any attention to that, right? That won't be part of your frame. Well, then it's a dumb frame.
And animals have values, and sentient minds create values and apply them to things, or accept values. Other sentient minds are applied to things.
Yes, there's psychology and there's philosophy. There's physiology, psychology, and then there's a thinking mind. Let's see, which one should we give any kind of more credibility to? Yeah, tough question for a smart person, huh?
And then we could all agree there are subjective values, so nobody needs to prove that there are subjective values, okay? There's nobody...
They're subjective desires. Why are you calling them values? Like they were somehow, we contrived them with some sort of force and made them into a value. No, they're desires, shithead. They're fucking desires.
Disagrees with that.
Hungers. What's a better word for it? You know, when you have a taste for something. But yeah, they're visceral. Visceral. Lizard brain shit. Lizards get hungry.
But there are people out there who claim there are objective values.
That's right. The brain sits there and can say something like, and go, look, all right, I've been raised to eat meat, so I like meat. Meat is tasty. Yum, num, 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 num. And then they can use their brain and say, wait a minute. The meat comes from the animal who's tortured and then killed. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't eat it because it causes animal harm. Ooh, harm. Yeah, it causes its pain. Ooh, pain bad. Pain bad. Non-pain good. Yeah, I can do that value of math in my head. Yeah, I don't need to have an erection to do it. I don't need to have a hunger to do it. I can use my logic and figure it out. That I don't like to be uncomfortable and to be in pain, and therefore the other consciousness doesn't like it either. And I can figure it out logically. So it's a logical, rational, reasonable value rather than something that came from your fucking biology. Yeah, what should I listen to? My intelligent, informed mind or a DNA molecule? Oh, tough question.
Now, I'm in disagreement with that, so the burden of proof is on them to show how values can be objective.
Yeah, all you can say is that the fact that it is that I know from personal experience as a sentient, okay, it's undeniable. You want to deny it, that's fine. You can go ahead and deny that you have such a thing as very positive sensations and extremely negative sensations. Now you want to deny that they're negative or they're positive and say that you can't tell the difference and that you love when you're puking your guts out or something. Well, fine. Go ahead and make that argument and I'll just say I don't get you and we'll just end this conversation because we don't have anything to talk about. But in my world, I have things like that are terribly unpleasant. I would pay big money not to do these things, like having my leg gnawed off by a fucking pit bull. These are things I would not want to experience. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to have happen. Alright? It's unpleasant. It's nasty. It fucking sucks. Every negative word you can come up with in the English language is how I would describe these fucking events. And I recognize that these events happen to other fucking things in the world. So my personal experience has informed me that there is such a thing as a bad happening, a bad sensual event, and that bad sensual events should be, have to be, must be prevented. They are the cost of existence, and if there's going to be some sort of compensation. There has to be a compensation for that cost. Retard.
Now, then I have to define what objective means. If you're saying objective is like what we all agree upon, like...
No, I'm saying what is rationally unassailable. That it is such a factual truth that you can't rationally assail it. You can't assail it as a truth with anything but complete nonsense. Without resorting to the fact that you're going to say, I love being eaten by a pit bull, you're going to have no fucking argument here. You can't rationally assail the fact that sentient creatures experience, and that their experiences have qualitative substance, that it matters that they suffer. It matters that 6 million Jews were starved to death in the fucking war. It matters that 50 million other people were killed and that their families suffered. It goddamn fucking matters. It's goddamn fucking important. It's not fucking goddamn subjective bullshit that you have to like the people or care about the people or be interested in the people. The truth is, they're people, they felt, they suffered, and it was bad.
There's a meter stick in a lab in France, and we can all agree that's a meter. And then we could all say it's 100 centimetres and it should be the same size everywhere in the universe if we're going to call it a meter. Okay, so that's, if people are saying that's...
Yeah, that's the standard here. We all have a consciousness. We all know what an unpleasant experience is. We all have a category of unpleasant. It doesn't matter what makes you feel like shit. It doesn't matter that you feel like shit because you look at whatever, a well-formed human body and it makes you nauseous. It doesn't matter what makes you sick. Okay? The fucking thing that matters is your sickness. Doesn't matter who's killing you, it's the fact that you're being killed. Doesn't matter what disease is attacking you, it's the fact that you're being attacked by a disease and you're suffering. You stupid fuck.
What an objective value is, then that's fine. Because all that means is intersubjective agreement. We're all agreed upon what a meter will be. And then we all work to that standard, more or less. But that's objective, as they say. That's one of the definitions of objective, because there's no objective definition of objective. There's multiple definitions of it.
Well, what's the point of doing this shit? I mean, it really... You don't want to ever make a distinction between subjective being something that's based on less information and fucking bias, and that's the nature of subjective, personal bias, bigotry, and something objective which is outside of that frame of personal interest and is only looking for interest, period. What is of interest on planet Earth? Oh, sentience is of interest. Rocks aren't of much interest. Volcanoes aren't of much interest. The only thing of much interest is the fucking welfare of sentient goddamn creatures. Fucking idiot.
But that definition is about intersubjective agreement. Sentient brains...
I mean, this idiotic intersubjective agreement when you're talking about the difference between agreements because a bunch of bigots get together and say, oh yeah, them black people be ugly, and intersubjective agreement when you logically all deduce that, yes, it seems correct that sentient creatures are having conscious experiences very similar to my own, and that I have learned from personal experience that there's a qualitative state here, that it's much better to feel good than it is to feel bad, and quite obviously this is a circumstance that should be addressed because I see it as a huge priority in my own existence to avoid this thing called pain and suffering, and it seems only logical that the same kind of standard would be applied to the rest of the world. So let's put those two things in the same category, call it intersubjective agreement. So when fucking white racists agree that black people be ugly, that's the same fucking thing, okay, as people logically agreeing that animals are sentient. Fuck you.
Applied a meter value to something. Sentient brains have subjectively created the value, then applied it to something, then shared that value with other sentient brains who have agreed that's what that value should be.
Well, again, and there's a huge difference between agreeing that you're all hungry for cow flesh and agreeing that the world is round, that the solar system is, whatever, 5.7 billion years old. Yeah, these are different kinds of agreements, and to put them all in the same category is idiotic, because you agree on a shared bigotry, and you agree on a shared observation about life in the universe. They're two different things. One is logic and reason based, one is challengeable by argument, and one is just a bigotry.
It's an intersubjective agreement. Okay? It's not objective. We just call it objective. We just use the...
Yeah, whatever. Again, you can't make a distinction between a fucking statement, a declaration that is rationally unassailable, and that's what I'm saying. It's rationally unassailable. You cannot assail my personal experience. I'm sorry. Okay? Without saying your consciousness is fundamentally different than my own. If you're going to make that argument that your consciousness is fundamentally different than my own, okay, then we can end the discussion, agree that we can't agree because we see the universe differently. We understand its mechanics differently. But that's what the agreement would be based on, and that would be an objective declaration of completely different fact-based conclusions.
But the meaning of objective that I think is being used, or at least the meanings are being interchanged, is mind-independent value as objective value. Objective meaning independent of the mind.
Well, whatever. I mean, independent of the mind is like saying numbers exist without calculators existing. Okay, that it's still 4. There's a group of 4 things in the universe. Now, there's no calculator recognizing its 4-ness. There's no mind recognizing its 4-ness. Is it still 4 and not 3? Yes, it's still 4 and not 3. That's a fact. Yes, nothing's going to be concerned about it, nothing's going to be recognizing, nothing's going to be acknowledging it, but it's still going to be a fact of its reality that it's 4 and it's not goddamn 3. So this idea of mind independence, yes, that's fine, let's use that as a standard, but not that standard's going to be that all of a sudden you say a mind must exist to acknowledge its value. Because that's just fucking bullshit. It fits in a category. The category can be fail. Okay? Failure can be a category. The guy shoots a basket and misses the goddamn hoop. There's nobody to witness it, and he drops dead when the ball is in the air. Does it change the fact that the ball didn't go in the fucking hoop and he goddamn fucking failed? No, it doesn't change that fact. It's still a fucking fact.
That's the objective that's being, I don't know, used or abused by people who use the other meaning of objective and seem to conflate both meanings into one thing.
Yeah, well, you're the one who is conflating intersubjective agreement to mean that when you logically agree and when you bigotry agree, they're the same thing. So that's bullshit. Okay, so you're the one mixing what I feel as a biological organism and what I think. Okay, as an informed intelligent. You're saying these are both the same thing. My thinking brain is no better than my fucking feeling body. And I think that's a preposterous fucking goddamn frame to have any fucking conversation in. If you're that fucking stupid, then yeah, you're too stupid for conversation. Because I certainly goddamn fucking know that my biology is a lot different than my fucking brain.
Interchange it when it suits them. People have to prove how these values can be objective if they're going to make the argument that they are.
Well, again, it says you. I mean, you're the one claiming, I mean, there's an equal value here because there's no capacity. We're talking about an abstraction. We're talking about 4-ness. Okay, and you're saying I somehow have to prove 4-ness without having a calculator or without a mind to compensate it. Well, I can't do that for you. All right, you have to be willing to accept the premise that we know from personal experience what consciousness is, and there's no way of negating its value. It clearly has a substance to it, and it would be goddamn ludicrous for me to impose on the universe horrible, horrible suffering as an option when I had the choice of no suffering. That would be just preposterous from my own personal experience. I know that would be a dumb thing to do. If I had 2 buttons in front of me, one says suffering and one says no suffering, and I sit there and just press the suffering one, I would be declarable as a fucking idiot.
And I don't mean going into specific values like, so you're saying rape isn't bad, isn't objectively bad or whatever. Again, that's the other meaning of objective. That's an intersubjective agreement. Most of us feel that rape is bad, therefore...
Most of us feel. Again, it's about this stupid feeling shit. It's about thinking. It's about the difference between Spock and goddamn Kirk. It's about thinking and being rational. And there being no rational alternative, no reasonable alternative, no reasonable counter-argument.
Or we make an agreement rape is bad, and then make laws based upon those intersubjective agreements. That's still intersubjective agreement, and that's how it works, by the way. I'm not arguing.
Oh yeah, you say so, fat fuckhead. Fuck you! That's not how it works. You've got it wrong. That's why the human race fails, is because ass-like holes like you can't figure out that you have to use logic and reasoning. That you can't keep talking about what you fucking feel.
For it, and that's how things should be. I'm arguing this is how things work.
And you're fundamentally wrong. It's not how things work. Things are what they fucking are, regardless of what you think about it. The fucking truth exists out there. It doesn't exist in your fucking brain, shithead. The facts are out there. Math is out there. The truth is out there. Okay? It's not in your fucking head. You don't declare the truth. You reveal the truth.
So, you know, rape isn't bad in the objective sense. Like, if there were no sentient minds, then rape would still be bad. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, well, it does make sense if the rape victim is still sentient, obviously. Obviously, you can't rape something that's not sentient, retard.
Values are dependent upon the existence of minds. So how can a value be mind independent?
Alright, well there we go. So he's saying forness is dependent on the existence of somebody to say it's for. It isn't for without somebody to declare it for. It isn't in the category for unless something shows up. It's not 3, and it is 4. That isn't a truth unless somebody declares it a truth. Fuck you, that's bullshit. Planet Earth didn't have sentient organisms on it because nobody had the word sentient, okay, before human beings showed up. So 300 million years ago, there was no sentient life in the universe. None of it made any difference. There was nothing to care about because there was no human beings to have sentences to make a declaration about its existence. It didn't exist until some fucking human says it exists. This is an idiotic goddamn premise. No, the suffering was real then, the harm was real then, it was all real then, even though not one single organism on planet Earth was going, hey, this is preposterously stupid. We're in a negative value spiral. We're not going to gain anything from this bullshit. We're just going to torture each other. Yeah, just because there was nobody there to say it, it changes the truth. The truth doesn't exist until a human being shows up to say this is the truth. Fuck you, that's idiotic.
It's impossible. You can make fictional scenarios. You can say, well, there might be a species that exists that needs radioactivity from uranium to exist. Therefore, if that species existed, then uranium would be highly valuable. So therefore, uranium is objectively highly valuable to, like, more so than it is now, you know.
Yeah, I don't know how that's illogical, right? So again, we're talking about the welfare of sentience. That's the kernel of value being declared. That's the argument being made. And I don't think there's a rational, cogent, sensible, intelligent argument that can be made that it isn't the kernel of value. That it isn't impossibly stupid if you have 2 buttons, suffering and no suffering, and nothing else. It's just about, I'm going to make a ball of suffering, or I'm not going to make a ball of suffering, that you press the suffering button. There's no way to logically defend pressing it.
And, you know, that would be fucking farcical. You know, these values only exist when there are minds to generate them. They don't exist if there are no minds to generate the values.
Again, it's just so idiotic. So the only thing that can assess the value of its personal experience is the thing personally experiencing it. So the baby elephant's only suffering in the baby elephant's mind, and therefore it has meaning only in the baby elephant's brain. It doesn't have any bigger picture meaning. It doesn't have no declaration can be made about the fact that this exists in the universe. The baby elephant's mind, somehow when it's suffering, flies off into some other dimension, and it's no longer part of the universe. It's no longer part of the game. It's no longer part of the equation. It's no longer part of the schema. I mean, that's just absolute fucking goddamn bullshit. There needs to be no witness. There needs to be no fucking person making a judgment. It is, in fact, itself declarational. It declares what it is by being what it is. Suffering is suffering. It is not something you can erase because it's held within inside of a mind. It's just idiotic. It's part of the universe, shithead. It's part of reality.
Okay, that's what I've observed. You know, and it takes a mind to observe those things. Without a mind, there are no observations of it.
Yeah, duh. There's no anything without the mind declaring it. Again, you're going to say this. No, there is solar systems. There is physics. Pi still exists. All these things still exist if human beings aren't around to declare they exist. The world, the planet Earth was a round sphere circling the sun 300 million years ago, and it was a fact. Okay, and our arrival here didn't make it a fact. It was a fact before we got here.
So, if you're going to argue these values exist independently of sentience, then you have to show how that is possible.
Well, again, I'm not going to argue that it's independent of sentience, because sentience is the core value. It produces anything of value. So you have to have a sentience before you can have value. Duh. That's the fucking conclusion being drawn, that there is no value until something that can be harmed, hurt, endure conscious suffering. Until something can endure conscious suffering, there is no value in the universe. That's the rational, logical conclusion. That's the rational, logical, unassailable truth. Name me something that could possibly have value if there is no sentience in the universe. How is it possible if there isn't a feeling taking place, if nothing that feels could be harmed, then explain to me how any of it could matter, possibly. There's no possibility of that explanation. But as soon as I put a sentient in the universe, there's the explanation. Because now I can explain there's a negative happening, there's a negative sensation taking place, and we know from our personal experience that negative is negative and positive is positive, and that's how we declare it, and that's what it's made out of. That's the quanta of fucking value is sentient sensation. Duh.
And I'll give an example, a rock. You know, how valuable is a rock? It depends what you're going to use it for. Who's you? Oh, the sentience, right, okay. So the sentience values a rock. Without the sentience there, the rock hasn't...
I mean, why talking sentience about rocks? Again, sentience is about feeling, okay? It's about the whole personal experience. Are you going to talk about a logical, rational being drawing a conclusion? Or are you going to talk about sentience? Again, our sentience is not what makes these declarations. Our intelligence does. You have to make a separation between your fucking capacity to be a rational, informed, logical being and your fucking visceral self-interest. They're two different things.
Value. And it's like that with the entire universe. The value is dependent upon the existence of sentience. It's dependent upon the mind. So how could it...
Yeah, it's not dependent on the mind. It's, as you stated, it's dependent on sentience. And sentience exists in lots of different kinds of brain forms. It might be possible for sentience to exist in something completely mechanical. We don't know for sure, but it's theoretically possible. All you have to do is create something that can experience the negative sensation, the unpleasantness, the repulsiveness. Something that can experience that fundamental mechanism, okay, and there you have value, because it now is in this negative suffering condition.
Possible to be mind independent. So, and that's the first hurdle. That's the first fucking step you have to take.
No, it isn't. Again, I can declare the steps. I'm not going to have a conversation with anybody who's going to deny their own fucking personal experience. So if you're going to tell me you can't tell the difference between your good experiences and your bad experiences, I'm going to say, fuck you. We don't have anything to talk about because you're a liar. Okay, you're a motherfucking liar. If I gave you a button that says I'm going to relive the worst day of my life or I'm going to relive the best day of my life, and you're going to tell me you can't tell the difference between those two fucking buttons and tell me that's the honest truth, I'm going to say, fuck you, you are so full of goddamn fucking shit. And you know the difference rationally. You rationally know, yes, fucking suffering sucks and not suffering doesn't suck. But yeah, that's going to be my standard, asshole. So yeah, you're going to remain an asshole as long as you deny a fundamental truth of your personal experience. Liar.
Engaging in adult discussion is discerning the difference between rhetoric and forceful argument and how it ties up with reality. Okay. Now, if you accept that values are generated by subject.
Well, again, why would I accept that as the limited definition of all that exists? The only thing that exists is my penis and my stomach. There is no fucking cognitive brain. Fuck you. There's a cognitive brain that does logic, that can rationally interpret and model and do all of this fucking amazing shit. Why the fuck would I deny its existence?
Brains, and hence they are subjective or intersubjective. Then you have to ditch all your so-and-so is right, so-and-so is wrong value judgments, and then move into the realm of serious discussion.
You can't have a serious discussion with bigotry, okay? You just can't. I'm not going to have a serious discussion with people who are going to tell me if I don't think it's cute, it isn't valuable. If I don't think it's pretty, it isn't valuable. If I don't like the person, they can drop dead and it doesn't matter. I can put Jews in a concentration camp because they're fucking greedy and have horns. Okay, I'm not going to argue with people who think that's a logical statement, who thinks that has something to do with rationality. Their subjective personal fucking opinion is somehow respectable. No, it fucking goddamn isn't. You have to make a rational argument about how their harm doesn't matter. And you can't make a rational argument about how their harm doesn't fucking matter.
If you don't want to do that and would rather deny what appears to be the case and then go on to use rhetoric instead because that seems more powerful, then...
Yeah, well, you're the rhetoricarian sitting there saying that all value judgments are subjective. So there, fuck you. All value judgments are alike. All value judgments are equally credible. So if I just don't like black people because they're ugly, that's a valid statement of truth. They have less value because they're ugly. Somebody can say that and you're going to sit there and applaud in the audience and say, brilliant value statement. Yes, very good. You've expressed your subjectivity. Excellent. Very good. I respect your subjective interpretation of reality. Why the fuck would I do that?
Fair enough, go do that. But don't expect an adult discussion out of me, because this is my system.
Well, okay, there, okay. Yes, I won't do that, okay? I haven't done it in the past, I won't expect it in the future. That's right, you're too fucking stupid for a rational conversation about how logic and rationality works and what the rules are. That, yes, if I can come up with a counter-argument to what you're saying, a counter-theory, okay, that's actually based on facts and rationality instead of bullshit, that I win the argument. That's right, you lose the argument.
Use reason. If reason fails, use psychoanalysis. If psychoanalysis fails, use mockery, and they will all remain.
Yeah, well, we know that you do it exactly in the opposite, and you never even get close to ever getting rational, fuckhead. Ever.
And that's the stage that ethicists are at. Only laws remain. If a new one comes along and tries to act all serious, I will engage them with reason.
Bullshit, prove it. Show me one rational comment you've made on the goddamn internet. Show me a fucking rational comment. Show me one. What a liar.
If that fails, psychoanalysis. If that fails, mockery.
Yeah, fuck you. Exactly the opposite is yours. And again, you've never even come close to making a rational argument. Ever. Your rational argument is, well, you can't prevent a future harm because the thing being harmed doesn't exist. Yeah, that's rational. Fuck you, you're an idiot.
My system. It's not perfect. People would say, just skip the mockery phase. Just ignore them. I know. Where's the fun in that? I value it as well. Anyway.
Exactly. You're just, as you always have been, just some sort of fat piggery in the stands, you know, concerned about your own welfare and nothing else. You're just a fucking selfish, nihilist pig. Oink, oink.
Good luck. Good luck, Inmendham, on your vaunted quest of seeking adult discussion with people on the internet.
Yeah, well, right. You might as well just concede that the problem is that none of you philosophical dick brains, okay, yeah, you can't get past your emotions. You can't have a rational discussion. You can't show up to Mr. Spock's room and have a logic discussion because you're going to keep talking about what you want to do. Yeah. Alright, so you fail. Fuck you! And such. People are incredible. It's just so fucking stupid. I mean, you can't sit there and argue that the truth is subjective. Then you just open the door to anything that's preposterous. Jeffrey Dahmer was correct because what he felt was what he felt, and so from his perspective it was perfectly okay, and therefore it was okay to torture people. Fuck you.